and today we've gathered to talk about the 2016 American found footage supernatural horror film, Blair Witch, 2016. So, I can't remember if I saw this in the movies. I'm almost positive I didn't, because when it came out, I thought it was going to be dumb.
I had no recollection of this movie, honestly, that existed. I knew that the Blair Witch and the sequel were a thing, but I didn't know this one was a thing.
Yeah, I remember this just getting like a couple previews on TV, and at the time I was like, yeah, that doesn't look like it's it. For those who don't know, the plot of the original Blair Witch was about, it's one of the original found footage movies with the video cameras and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's where some kids go off into the woods to make a documentary about some local legend. They run into some shit. Turns out it wasn't a legend, and their video recordings is all that's left, which is the birth of the found footage genre, at least in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this movie is. It's a sequel to that, pretty much.
It's a sequel, but a modernization version of it, isn't it?
Sort of, yeah.
Because after I watched it, I watched a review of a guy I watch on YouTube. He reviewed like all three movies, and basically to sum it up, he said that this is more like a modern day version of that movie because he goes into it, and I'll probably go into it a little bit later, but he goes into it how it's so much different from back then to how it is now, like viewing wise movies.
Yeah. So people are probably wondering why we didn't just do the first Blair Witch.
I don't know, Chris. Why did we do the first one? Why did you choose this movie?
That's a good question, Probably should have done the first one because I think we're going to spoil a lot of the first one.
I don't think it matters anymore.
Right. So, and you still haven't seen the first one, but you watched like a summary of it, right?
I watched summary. I've seen clips. I know what the concept is. I know how it ends. I just haven't seen like the I guess like the middle parts of it. Like I know the iconic scene, of the girl in the campsite, and then the ending of it. What's going on? Concept of it. I just haven't seen like the little snippets in between it. But I don't think I'm missing much.
If anything, maybe we'll turn this into an actual since I've seen the movie like 1,000 times. And like you said, you understand the loose concept of it.
Yeah, I'm just missing like the dialogue parts of it. But
so we'll do the Blair Witch. I think it's 99, right?
98. No. Yeah, 99. Yeah, because I remember the sequel came out like a year after, which is like 2000, I think.
So this will be kind of like a then versus now type deal, where I'm going to compare it to this one and the one we actually watched. But mostly we're going to be talking about the one we watched because you saw it.
Yeah.
But I'll be doing callbacks and shit.
Fair enough.
Now, I remember when the old one came out, it was a big deal because people thought it was a legit thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, while you're watching the movie, in your head, you're like, this could be real.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Like I said, the review that I watched after, the guy mentioned that it was like when the movie first came out, no one really knew like what was real and what wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like how he said it. The fake news concept wasn't a thing at that point.
Yeah.
So people were like, anything that you say, like they legit thought it was real.
Well, yeah, because there was a mockumentary, and I call it mockumentary because it was a documentary based on like the origins of the Blair Witch, but it's mockumentary because it's all bullshit. It was all made up.
Yeah.
They put it out on the Sci-Fi Channel along with the movie while it was in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
That, and there was all kinds of like fake websites with like police reports like showing these people missing and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the marketing for this movie was fucking ungodly at the time.
That's honestly really smart.
I know, and there's no YouTube. There's probably forums and shit, but like regular people didn't really know how to look into the shit.
So
as far as people know, it's like, holy shit, there's nobody talking about it. It's just like you're finding all this information, and it's like, god damn, this is scary as fuck.
Yeah, because like I said, I was gonna say it's pretty smart because, like you said, people didn't know how to like look up shit because the internet was kind of barely starting off at that point. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you have no idea what you're looking for, like compared to now, how you can literally see something like, oh, it's fucking fake. Or now back then, where it's like you see something like, oh shit, this is real, and then you see like a little like a mockumentary, like you said, how you call it, like them just bullshitting it and being like, yeah, this is for real, and then making websites about it. It's like, what are you not to believe from it, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so the whole thing about the Blair Witch, right? And I think the reason why I didn't want to do the first one is because you know all this information about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's bullshit. You know it's not real. So people watching it nowadays, compared to back then, when you see it now, it's kind of like that was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's pretty much Paranormal Activity, a bunch of build up, a bunch of tension, to pretty much no payoff.
That's something that like that I on the video that I saw, it mentioned that the way the movie was made back then compared to the way the remake or the sequel, I guess, was made is like so much different because of like how people like react to things differently now. Like back then, like the movie, from what I know, is like super slow paced. It's not much like jump scares or anything like that. It's just more like a building the tension. Like, oh, this is real. They're going through it, like, you know, fighting real shit. Compared to now, where it's 20 years later, I believe, and it's like we know the first one was fake, you know, and we know that we can't do like a side by side remake of the first one because people are gonna be like, this is boring as hell. Which is why this movie is a lot more different, but it's the same concept. Because like the way he said it, like this one's like jump scare, this one's like building tension, all that shit, where the other one's like slowly like, oh, this is what we found, this is what we see, but at the time you don't know if it's real or not, so it's like you suck it up basically.
Yeah, like the other one was a real found footage movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
it looks like really people just filming just bullshit.
Because from what I heard, that they the scenes in that movie, it was made like with the actors not really knowing what was actually going on.
Yeah, so what happened was, I've read about this before. In the old Blair Witch, pretty much they just threw 3 kids out into the woods with camera equipment.
Give them a
And they
small
gave them
script.
like a basic idea of like what was coming, but they didn't know like when it was going to happen.
Mhm. So everything looked legit, actually, like an actual.
So, yes.
Because like from like I said, I think they gave him like a basic script to kind of go off of, and like give him the idea of like this is what we're filming, but everything like all like the little scares that they do is like actually like not like planned for them, so that like it's like legit like actual scares from them to get like an actual real like reaction from it, from what I heard.
And you know, this movie for me is on a pedestal as a kid because there was 2 movies that I just refused to watch at one point in my life. The Exorcist. Because imagine like pre-2000, right? You're hearing about this movie and it's like, oh yeah, if you see this movie, you're going to get possessed by the devil or some shit like that, you know? Like that's my childlike mind like rationalizing it. And the Blair Witch Project at the time was like, okay, you're going to watch people get murked on fucking camera and it's all 100% real.
So now that I think about it, your equivalent to that is my equivalent to when I first saw the Paranormal Activity trailer.
Yeah, that's what you thought. You thought it was like, oh, this is real as fuck.
Well, I didn't think it was real as fuck,
But you like refused to watch it because you're like, this is too much.
like yeah, like because I was like I said, like I was like 6 or something like that.
Okay, so yeah, we'd have been about the same age as you saw this shit.
Yeah, so I was like at that point I was fucking scared of like like the dark and see what's behind the darkness, like all that shit. And then so seeing that, and then them marketing saying this can happen at night, or no one's safe, or whatever they marketed, and then seeing shit like that happen at night, it just fucking terrified me. So it was like that same night I didn't even sleep off just the trailer.
Ooh, so it would be fun to do Paranormal Activity.
Now it probably is because now it's like
now you'd be able to bullshit at it.
Yeah, so it's basically like how you're equivalent to now, where you see the Blair Witch and it's like, this is bullshit.
Right. But no, so the first time I saw the Blair Witch was at a Halloween party with a bunch of people. And there's music going on, somebody's drunk. I'm watching it behind like 3 other kids' head. It's just, it doesn't have the same effect. I'm watching it and I'm like, all right, what's the big deal? And I was probably like 8 or 10 or some shit.
Yeah.
Couple years later now I'm like 12 or 14, somewhere in the middle there. I'm watching this movie in my living room with my dad. My dad falls asleep. It's around 5 or 6 o'clock. It's still light out. By the time the fucking movie ends, it's night out and I haven't turned lights on. So it's pitch black in this fucking room. And the end of this movie, like I said, with the way they build the tension, by the time you're at the end of it, if you're really zoned in, I was freaked the fuck out, bro.
That made
Because it's like dark, bro. It's like that kind of fear. I always know I enjoy a movie when at the end of it, if I start going like,
oh shit,
like looking over my shoulder, you know, like, oh fuck, it's over there.
yeah.
But no, that's the type of way. That's how I kind of figured out. Like, it depends on the environment you're in, reflects on how you feel about a movie.
Yeah, I can see that because the atmosphere that you have from the movie and then the atmosphere you have like while you're watching the movie can actually help the movie or make it like not help it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an important thing too.
But no, we're talking a lot about the old one, but we're going to go ahead and just get into spoilers, man. We're going to break down the differences, what we liked, what we didn't like. So if you guys haven't seen Blair Witch, the old one, or this 2016 sequel. Exactly. All right, though. So what'd you think of the one we saw, the 2016 Blair Witch?
Dude, every time I come, I feel like except for the last review, I feel like I'm always negative. This movie sucked. To me, it sucked. The only good part of it was like the last 30 minutes of it, and then the last actual 5 minutes of it kind of ruined it for me. So like that little mid range was the only part that I saw good. Everything else was like, super cliche and like annoying to me. It's one of those where I kind of want to skip through again. So kind of the same thing as like Quarantine. To me, at least. I don't know about you.
You see, I'm the exact opposite again, because I'm going into this remembering, because I've seen this before, and I'm like, all right, this was kind of a cheesy movie, I think. I don't remember liking it too much. Mm-hmm. But knowing that I was going to do a podcast, I actually like paid attention. Mm-hmm. And this is a genre that I'd never thought of before. What, like, if you were to describe what kind of genre this movie was, what would you call it?
Wouldn't it still be found footage? In a way?
It's found footage, but like, what are the actual scares? Would you say it's like Lost in the Woods, like a campy movie?
Oh, like which? What are you trying to like?
What
categorize
subgenre?
it?
Yeah.
I would just say Lost in the Woods. Really, I wouldn't say it's because you don't really see the witch that much, and then. Camping is like, I mean, it's not part of in the woods in a way, so I would go towards more like Lost in the Woods, or honestly,
and that's what it seems like on the surface. Mm-hmm. But in the description of this movie, it's called a supernatural horror film. Now, supernatural, you could switch that word out for something else that I realized. A genre called cosmic horror. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that genre?
I've heard of it, but I've never really thought about like what would make it like
so
cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror is when something is so grand and unexplainable that there's really no way that we could ever comprehend what the fuck it even is. Movies like Hellraiser, when they open the cube, beings from another dimension come through a door. That's cosmic horror. As soon as you're talking about alternate timelines, different dimensions and shit like that, that's what cosmic horror is. And I've come to realize that that's some of my favorite because it can't be disproven.
So you don't know. So you can't be like, is it real? Is it fake?
Yes, you can't necessarily say like this 1000% could never happen because we can't fucking even explain how it happens. The movie leaves a lot of like open room for like they never try to do some dumbass. There's a talisman that works. Blah blah blah. You know, it doesn't make sense. Oh, it's very vague and ambiguous.
There's no like this guy did this, so this is why this is happening. It's more of like
it's just we're just watching the shit just happen, and it's like
what the fuck happened?
Okay, I don't know how it happened, so it's not possible that it couldn't happen.
Okay, I could see that. That makes more sense now because I never really knew what defined that cosmic horror.
Yes, and in this movie they deal with that whole fucking. So people go missing, they come back, and they're like, it's been 5 days, but wait, it's only been an hour since I saw you. And it sounds fucking stupid. But when you think about it, interesting plot point.
If done right.
Here's what I think happened. I still, even though I like the movie, I don't like the casting choice for one person in particular.
The guy or the girl?
No. For the locals.
Yeah, the guy. The guy. I said the guy or the girl because I knew you were referring to both of them. I just didn't know which one you were referring to.
Like, all right, fuck it. So the movie, the 2016 Blair Witch movie, right? It's about the brother of one of those people from the original trilogy, from the original movie.
Yeah, the brother of one of the girls, I think. They find a YouTube video of apparently of her like recording of like her not missing or
It's apparently like an extended cut of the Blair Witch that wasn't in the movie.
something like that. So then he goes finds like he's like, well, if someone uploaded this, then this is recent. She must still be out there. You know, cliche. I gotta go find her. She's still out there. So he goes finds the guy that uploads the video. Dude's sketchy as hell, and he's like, well, I'll take you where I found it, but I gotta go with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go camping, and then that's pretty much from there. It's what you expect it to be.
Yeah. And one thing about the old movie, though, right? So something that's cool, like I said, the cosmic horror aspect of the second one is what I like. But in the first one, it's the world building that I think is dope. Did anything you've researched, did they talk about the world building at all?
I researched nothing. I only watched that review after, and it wasn't more of like, it was just more comparing the movie, what makes them good and bad.
Well, because in the old 99 one, or whatever year it came out, the first like 30 minutes or so is of these three kids like going around this town outside of the woods,
Like talking to people,
and they're like learning the lore of the Blair Witch.
Yeah, asking people like, what do you believe in it? What have you heard? Stuff like that.
Yes, and the mythos they build up is fucking incredible. It's magical. Apparently there was some guy who got possessed by a woman, killed a bunch of kids in the woods. They found him, lynched his ass up. His house was burned down, supposedly. There was some campsite out in the woods like 100 years prior called Coffin Rock or some shit, where like 15 pilgrims or some shit got murdered, and they all got their bodies all bound together in some like satanic symbol and shit. Like all types of this crazy fucking like lore. And they even add to it in the sequel that we were talking about. Remember they say like the woman who was accused of being the witch was put up in a tree very high up with like weights tied to her, extending her limbs, making her limbs long or some shit.
Yeah. Oh, that explains it.
Yes.
I didn't catch that part. I remember that, but I didn't catch that was what makes sense at the very end.
Yes.
That
And anyways, I can explain the old movie. Here's why the old movie is dumb. Because I can explain it to you in about 2 minutes. So.
Don't do it.
Too late.
No, I'm kidding. Go.
The three kids, they go and they do their documentary shit. They do that for 30 minutes. They go camping. First day, it's all shits and gigs. The second day, they find the sticks and shit. I'm making all these up, by the way. But just change up the order.
Okay.
Okay. The third night, they hear noises outside of their tent. They all get freaked out. Fourth day, they're all lost. Now they don't know where the fuck they're going. That night, little kids are banging their hands on their tents at night while they're trying to sleep. They run out of the tent. Girls see some shit off camera. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? We don't ever see shit, though.
Never.
Fifth night, somebody goes missing. Sixth night, they run into the house because they hear the dude's voice inside the house that burned down, so it shouldn't be there. Walk around the house, see bloody handprints on the walls. Go into the basement.
See the dude in the corner.
One dude's in the corner.
Jacking off.
Yeah. Girl gets fucking football tackled by somebody. Camera drops. That's the Blair Witch Project. Never see anything.
Well, I mean, that's the point.
I know. But more or less, that's the fucking movie. Oh, there's a part where the girl finds like a little pile of sticks with like somebody's tooth wrapped up in a leaf. That's like the one like whoa moment.
I guess in the 1990s.
But yeah, so literally, bro, that's the plot of the Blair Witch. That's why I don't think you'd like it.
I think it kind of goes off of like what the reviewers that I watched said, that back then the attraction to people of like, well, this is real, like, you know, you don't know if this is real or not, like,
you take out the element that it's not real, it's not a good movie.
Yeah, once you go in knowing like, okay, this is bullshit, and then you just watch it, and since like it's a slow paced movie, I probably wouldn't like it.
Right.
Considering how much less it probably is in this one, it is than the. I guess I still don't know if it's a remake or a sequel.
It's a sequel, 100% a sequel.
Okay, so more slower paced in the sequel, and you don't see as much. So I probably wouldn't enjoy it, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't watch it.
Right.
But I can just kind of if it's what I think it is, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. Like if I didn't really enjoy this one at all either. So it's like if it's not, I'm not gonna say it's more worse than this one, but if it's like much slower paced and like I don't know drags on more, then it probably
Drags on a lot more, sir.
then I probably wouldn't enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
And like, look, I would say the way the movies are similar, right? It's the same concept, but they just throw more shit in there in the new one. And the difference is there's a payoff at the end, technically.
You see something.
You see something.
Yeah, I guess that's the payoff.
But
Speaking of which, before we go, is that what you expected to see when you first watched this movie? Or were you expecting something to see something else?
what, the witch?
Yeah. Like, after seeing the first one and then this one coming out and you going to watch this one, and they're finally showing The Witch. Is that what you expected or no?
Honestly, it's better than what I imagined.
Really?
Yeah. Like, this is a pretty accurate depiction.
Okay.
Like, I liked their image. I like what they decided to go with.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was weird to me. It's like, at first it looked like an indigo. You know what indigo is, right?
I mean, Wendigo.
Or Wendigo, yeah. It looked like that for me at first, and then the more I saw it, the more it looked like a tree. And then I was like, this is like a tree version of Slender Man, almost.
Yeah, well, you got to think about, like, in some lore, witches are considered, like, one with nature, right?
Yeah.
So the concept of it kind of looking like
Tree.
nature infused.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, they could have probably done a little better. But, I mean, I can't say
I told you, I've told you before, one of my biggest fears is old women. Like, the depiction of, like, the witch, the hag. So, for me, this is, like, one of the scarier genres.
I never knew that.
You never knew that?
You never told me this.
Oh, yeah, well, that's my thing.
Huh. Okay, good to know.
Which is why Insidious freaks me the fuck out. Because it has, like, the ultimate one.
Yeah, the old people. It's old cat.
No. It's got the ultimate old lady.
Yeah.
Like, that the thing they use is, like, the thing I don't like.
You're telling me a PG-13 movie scared you?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
PG-13 movies can be done well, sir.
I have yet to see that.
But no, so what really didn't you like about the movie?
You know, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what I don't like about the movie. I just don't like the movie. They're like, I don't know. It's not like, it's slow paced a bit. I think you know what it was? Thinking about it, you know how in Overkill, like the first 5 minutes drag you and you're like, all right, I'm in? This movie didn't do that for me.
You mean Overlord, sir?
Is it Overlord? I thought it was Overkill. Okay. Overlord, yeah. Like that movie when you first started, first 5 minutes or so, you're like, I'm in. This looks fucking fun. This movie is like, oh look, this is we saw this from the other movie. I'm like, I don't fucking care, dude. Just give me something to get attached to. And I don't know if that's because I didn't watch the first one, and depending, I guess if I liked it or not, I would enjoy this one more. But I just didn't care. I was like, this is fucking cliche. Oh, we're doing a video crew, you know. My sister's out there. I gotta go find her. And they're like, I'm gonna take my friends with me. It's like, dude, I don't fucking care, dude. So it was like with that going into it, it's just like I'm already at a mood where I'm like,
So you already didn't believe the motivation. You didn't like the characters.
yeah. And then that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't care for the motivation. Didn't like the characters, like anything where I'm like attached to. And then some of them are a little annoying to me. And it's like I said, throughout the whole movie, it kind of drags on, and in the last 30 minutes or so, it kind of starts to pick up a little bit. Where I'm like, okay, this is not kind of a little interesting, but then the last 5 minutes of the movie, it kind of just went back to the very beginning to me of like, okay, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. This just wasn't it for me.
You know what I wish is that they hadn't done found footage again. That I think this could have been better as a fucking just a regular movie.
How do they do it though?
Well, because what was annoying to me was that so many people had cameras in the fucking movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
That every time they had to they were changing angles, they had to make sure they showed the person who was filming before it changed to their angle.
Well, what's the one golden rule in found footage movies, sir? Don't stop filming.
Well, no. There's no problem with don't stop filming, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to get the money shot.
Like every time they changed angles, they couldn't just change angles to whoever was filming. They had to show who was filming. Like the camera would have to be pointed at you just to get the angle we want.
That's what I'm saying.
That was kind of annoying. Like I was like, why not just fucking make a movie, bro, where you don't got to worry about who's filming?
Because, like I said, found footage movies, dude, gotta shoot everything. You gotta show everything. It doesn't matter how stupid it is or how small it is. It's like you just gotta show everything. So, like them showing, hey, this person's filming now, so it's the view to that person, and then they gotta make sure this person is filming. That's what I'm saying. You film everything and leave everything in. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was like. That's just how it is for all found filming. You know.
Do you think you'd ever go on like a trip like this?
What do you mean?
Say if I was like, Alex, I want to go deep into the woods with you, man. Just me and you.
Don't say it that way.
Deep into the woods.
That was very creepy.
I want to go camp on a creek.
Just me and you.
Called Little Big Boy.
Just me and you.
Yeah.
No pants on.
I just want to roast sausages all night.
Okay, shut the fuck up now. Okay, I mean, you're fucking taking me to a camp tour, or not a cave tour.
Okay, not a camp tour, but like say me, you, a group of friends.
Oh, now it changes.
Yeah. And we're going like deep into like country territory. Like, would you feel comfortable doing that?
Deep in the woods like this?
Yes.
Not
on the hunt for anything. Just like
not an actual campsite. Just like let's fucking go in the woods and not know what the fuck we're going.
Yeah, let's just go straight man versus nature.
I don't know about that one, Chief. Me and going, knowing we're going to a campsite. Okay, cool. I know we're going to a campsite. Me, you, and everyone going to like the middle of the woods.
Okay, and I bring like one Bear Grylls motherfucker, like one dude who knows how to like survive.
No, I need someone that knows where we're at.
Knows where we're at, knows how to survive.
Knows how to get back.
Yes.
Okay, then that's different.
Okay, we're out there and he dies. So now it's just you, me, and these guys, right?
Okay, now he dies.
Okay, he's dead. Forget all that.
He
caught AIDS and he died in the woods. How he caught AIDS in the woods, it's through your imagination.
Rolling your sausages.
Roasting weenies.
I mean, he's dead at that point. He wasn't dead when I got there, so it wouldn't really change my opinion on if I want to go or not.
Oh, no. We're out there, though.
Oh, okay. Well, what about it?
All right. Now, what's the move? Do you know how to, like, get out of the woods?
See, I'm a very detailed person, so I can imagine if I remember how we got there, I can remember how to get back in the same direction. So I necessarily wouldn't be like, oh my god, we're fucking lost. Like, I don't know. I would be like, okay, I remember the way we came, so I'm pretty sure if we go the same direction, we'll eventually go back to where we were. That's not playing Supernatural. Where, oh my god, we went in a circle. It's more of like, you just walk in a straight line, so they just walk the other direction back the straight line, and we'll get there.
Okay. Sound logic?
Yeah.
Now, would you bring weapons to a trip like this?
Oh, fucking, are you camping with wolves or something?
I don't know, dude. I don't know what's in the woods, bro. You're the one who's been camping.
It's campsites. I don't want in the middle of the woods.
I don't know. What type of weapons are justified to bring on a camping trip? Nunchucks?
Yeah, totally. Get into a nunchuck fight with the bear.
You never know.
Fucking monkey comes out too while you're at it.
Bazooka, clearly.
I mean, just bears, wolves.
So bear spray?
Bear spray?
Yeah. It's pepper spray. You never heard of bear spray?
No, never heard of it.
Yeah, bro. People bring fucking pepper spray for bears.
Okay. I guess I didn't know that.
Okay, so you're not the guy to ask about what weapons to bring.
I mean, fucking, what would you bring?
I'm asking you, man. Would you take a staff like Gandalf?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking take a assault rifle and a fucking nunchucks and a sword. I'm in the fucking woods with the bear and a wolf. I'm not gonna zombie hunt or anything.
I don't know, man. Maybe you bring a handgun.
I mean, I guess it's justifiable. I guess
A handgun doesn't seem outrageous.
that's why I was like, I don't.
But then you're not allowed to like shoot animals low key, right? Don't you have to have like permits to like kill anything?
You have to have a permit to hunt, and then you can only hunt certain things. You can't like hunt just whatever the fuck you want.
We just go out there to hunt squirrels, bro.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can kill squirrels. I'm referring to like, I don't know, wolves and shit like that.
I just picture you with like a belt with like 30 squirrels just like hanging off it as we walk back.
My championship belt right there.
Mm.
I don't know. I wouldn't be against it, honestly. But I would just be like, I'd rather go to. I know we're going to an actual campsite, unless, like I said, unless there's someone there that knows where we're going. It's okay to camp there. If, we know how to get back and shit like that. Then it's a different story.
Yeah, well, the whole point of that little tidbit right now was just like how eagerly all of these kids just stroll off into the fucking woods together.
Well, I guess in the movie, is it obviously one has a motivation. I gotta go find my sister, and then the other guys are like,
We want to see.
like when you think about it, how easily convinced do you have to be to be like, okay, I'll go. Like they didn't even like the guy wasn't even like, I need you guys to go with me, please, come on. The guy was like, I'm going to the woods. Like, okay, we'll go with you.
I think that's definitely that white people cliche.
Because it's like it wasn't even like if someone like, okay, say this is fucking someone, I don't know, someone asks you, hey, Blair Witch thing was true. My sister went to it. I saw this video that was uploaded to YouTube. Keep in mind, 2016. And then they ask you, hey, my sister's out there. Since someone uploaded this video, I want to go out there and find her. Would you be like, yeah, I'll go with you, or would you just be like, okay, cool, good luck with that?
Yeah. Ask Alex.
Ask him. Ask someone else. Don't ask me.
Nah, dude, that's pretty much the exact thing I asked you, bro. Like, it just doesn't seem very plausible.
Well, yours was like, would you go in the woods just to camp? Mine's is like, if this was like an actual thing, like, hey, my sister's out there. Can you go with me to help find her? It's kind of a little different, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't even dude didn't even try to convince them. They were just like, okay, we'll go.
Yeah. And then, like I said, they proceed to immediately get lost.
Exactly.
But I mean, they did think they were going out there with GPS.
And then, of course, everything has to go wrong.
Yes.
Speaking of which, 2016, someone uploads a video like that. I'm pretty sure at this day and age, you could say this is fake. This is true. Would you?
Yeah. Remember, like how when they were showing little glimpses of stuff and shit.
Yeah, I was like, with that being said, if someone like showed you a video of like apparently your sister from like the lost tapes that they had, would you immediately be like, this is true, she's out there, or you'd be like, okay, this kind of, it's fake but creepy?
Look, sister, if you're watching this, I would just assume you were dead. All right, I'd have moved on. I'd be at peace with it.
I mean, it's been 20 years now.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, 2016. YouTube, keep in mind, it's not like a fake, page. It's YouTube. At this point, people know people upload fake shit and stuff like that. And then you see a video 20 years later of your sister just recently uploaded. It's like,
You'd think it was a hoax.
yeah. This dude doesn't even question it. It's like, she's out there. I gotta go out there.
Well, I mean, at the end, we see like how gullible this fucking dude is.
That is true.
Actually, how gullible all of them are. But before we get into that, we alluded to earlier, or I did, that there's a character that I felt was miscast that I didn't really care for. Mm-hmm. Now, these are the emo kids from South Park that somehow got into this movie. I can't even think of their damn names. They're the locals who uploaded the YouTube video.
I think one of them is Lane.
Lane is the guy, and Lane is the guy we're referring to.
I don't remember what the chick's name is. But, yeah. I can see what you're referring to.
So this kid, I remember from this like decade of movies, this kid was in a couple other movies, and he was typecasted as the emo kid universally in every movie because he's got that sad boy look, you know.
Sad boy look.
And literally every movie I saw him in, he has like the beanie or some shit or, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sad boy look. You know?
Yes.
You know the look.
And I think they were supposed to be like backwoods motherfuckers, right? Supposedly.
Supposedly, they know how to get there. They know exactly what they found, and they basically know everything.
It didn't come across that at all. Like I said, they look like just goth city kids.
Just some emo kid that's dark web hunter, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like he was supposed to be fucking backwoods dark web guy, which I didn't believe.
Yeah.
That and we're gonna jump all over the place on this movie. At the end, bro, when he like time jumps and he has like a beard and shit.
It's been 6 days.
And his hair's like no, even after that, when his hair is super long.
At the when they go to the cabinet, or not the cabinet, the house.
And
thing.
he's gone like full wild man, you know?
Yeah. I was like,
and his voice is still the exact same, but now you can tell he has like the big fake beard and the fake hair.
Yeah, it's like you got to do what she says, and then it's like, where the fuck did you come from? It's like, why the fuck are you here?
Why are you cosplaying a fucking lumberjack?
Yeah, because it's like, when that scene happened, I was like, I thought the guy was dead already. It's like, why did they decide to bring the guy back? You know, like, in the movie part, like, why did they decide to go with that? It's like, doesn't really do anything for the movie. You just bring back another character that no one really cared about.
Well, now they had to give closure to the character. Because we never actually saw him die.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know.
But, I mean, so, I don't know, dude. I like this movie. I like some of the stuff because they use the drone. When the drone gets stuck in the tree, it's probably one of my favorite fucking parts of the movie.
Speaking of which, would you climb that high of a tree to just get that drone out?
Yes.
Really?
Look, you've been lost in the woods for a day. You find a drone, you think, like, all right, this drone's going to be able to show me, like, the way home.
But you already saw that they shut up the drone and they couldn't find shit.
I know, but still, you're irrational. You're doing anything you can.
I mean, I guess so.
But, so the girl climbs the tree to grab the drone, right?
Yes. And
somehow she's still filming herself this entire time.
Camera never turns off, dude. Film everything.
Right. And while she's like 30 feet in the fucking air, right?
Mm-hmm.
She just gets snatched up even higher.
Does she get snatched up or does she falls?
I think she gets snatched up. Like she gets pulled upwards.
I thought she just like... I mean, I know something happened.
Or maybe something grabbed her and she fell.
That's why I was like, I don't remember her going up. I remember her going down.
Well, either way, the arm comes from above her.
Oh, yeah, there was an arm, yeah.
Now, like I said, just little shit like this adds to the thing of what is cosmic horror to me. Just...
You don't know what's going... We can't really explain, like...
Right, was the bitch already in the tree? Did she teleport to the tree? Was she so big that she was standing on the ground and fucking
she's
grab?
one with nature. This hand came out of the tree, sir.
Exactly.
I mean... I don't know. To the one with, like, trying to make the movie logical, it's like... It just kind of just takes away from the movie. Mm-hmm. But one that doesn't try to make it logical, it's like, oh shit, you know, like, what the fuck? Like, well, how did she do that? Like, you know. So I guess depending on the type of mindset you go into the movie, it's kind of like, they'll either be a good thing for you or a bad thing for you.
Exactly, you're right. Because your mindset is, this doesn't make sense, and my mindset is, I don't want it to make sense.
Yeah, so it's like, that's what it's like.
And I knew these things going into the movie. To be fair. So like I said, maybe that's why, once again, the second time I watch these movies, I'm enjoying them more because I know what to expect.
You know what to expect, but you just choose not to expect it anymore because you want to enjoy it.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
Because I remember, like I said, I'm like you. The first time I see these movies, I'm like, that wasn't so great. I'm not going to recommend this to somebody. But upon second viewing, I am like looking at them through a different lens.
I just realized, well, I kind of knew how you contrast this, where you have me view it as a first time viewer, where to you it's like a 20 times viewer.
Yeah,
I just realized that because like all the movies that I've seen, this is the first time I see it. But the past movie that we have done, you're like, oh, I've seen this like 20 times already. So it's like Now I understand. Because now you're kind of getting like a response of someone of like, this is the first time I see it. This fucking movie's so stupid. But then you see it with someone else, like how you said, I see the movie and it's fucking stupid the first time I saw it. But then I start to like shut my mind off where I don't try to think logical. I try to just enjoy it for what it is, and it becomes enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean that's like my friend Josh when I did podcasts with him, right? I was able to kind of he'd have the same idea of a movie sometimes as you would, where he'd be like, "Oh, this is just kind of garbage," and by the end of the podcast, after hearing me out, he'd go like, "You know what? Wasn't that bad."
Yeah, I could say that. So far with the other movies that we've done, I kind of still sound the same way.
Yeah, well, some of them, bro, are just you can't save them.
Yeah.
Like you can dress it up how you want, but I mean, it is what it is. It's media. However you consume it is your own personal opinion.
Yeah, that's it.
And even me, bro, like I don't universally love everything. I try to find a green light in most stuff, but some shit you can't save.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, so like, what was some of your favorite like death scenes in this movie?
Death scenes or just scenes in general? Because I don't really remember a lot of death scenes in this movie.
Well, I mean, there's only 5 characters, so there's 5 death scenes.
It was that emo chick when she got broken in half when that chick touched the stick.
She got folded.
That's funny. She touched the stick and the chick got folded.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah. There was that. There was how did the black guy die again?
He died off camera.
That's what
A tree fell on him.
Tree fell on him and he got dragged.
Pulled away or some shit.
So you never saw how he died, right? Okay. I mean, I didn't see shit, so I don't know how I would say that. The white guy got stabbed. The guy that you told me that you're talking about, the guy with the beard.
Emo kid.
He got stabbed in the neck. The black girl fell off the tree and died, didn't she?
Yes.
And then the other 2 got snatched because of the witch.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was to say what my favorite death scene was, it'd probably be the girl folding in half because it's kind of funny.
That's technically like the only one that was like
in your face,
gruesome on camera.
More just in your face, honestly. And it was kind of funny to me, so I guess that's what it was. It was like you fucking touch a stick and she breaks it in half. It's like, okay.
It's so unexpected and random.
Yeah, that's what I was like. It was just funny to me.
That one left a sour taste in my mouth when I watched it the first time, and it left the same taste. I didn't like that.
I was gonna say it was more funny than like, oh my gosh, you fucking died. It's so gruesome. Like it was just more.
It
funny.
was just so undeserved, bro.
Cause it's like she's like, I fucking hate you, and like you did this. She touches the stick and just fucking just folds in half. She's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
That's the part where they introduced the idea of time loops. Whenever
time loops and then fucking the woods are like, I don't know, like supernatural, I guess.
Yeah, because earlier in the day, they wake up and they find the sticks all over the place, right? Or they find one stick, a little stick figure.
Yeah, and they still think the guys are fucking with them at that point.
Well, no, at that point they think it's all real because they haven't realized yet that the 2 goth kids are setting them up. They're hoaxing them.
Well, that was the first time, wasn't it?
Yes.
Second time.
Well, no, this is the first time.
Oh, sorry, the first time. They thought it was real and until they
found the same rope that made the Blair Witch stick symbol.
Yeah.
In the guy's backpack. So they get into a fight and they separate. And it's that night when they come back that the emo kids are like, it's been 5 days, man. And they're like, nah, it's been 5 hours, bro. What the fuck are you smoking out there?
Yeah, it's like when they came back, because then they see it again, and that's when they show up. Like it's been,
yeah, and they at that point, that guy Lane decides, fuck this group, they're gonna die, and his girl stays with the group.
Mm-hmm. And then she dies.
And she immediately dies.
Yeah,
because like she's holding a stick figure.
Why
did she have a stick figure?
No. She grabbed it. She pulled it off.
All the sticks magically appeared again, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first time or second time?
Second time.
So the second time, the first time is when they were like, "Oh, you're fucking with us," and the second time it's when like, "Oh, this shit's real," because she pulls one off because one of them has like her hair, and she's like, "What the fuck? This is my hair," and the black chick is like, you fucking did this. I hate you. And she's like, it's your fault. And she touches the stick and then fucking breaks it in half. She's like, oh my god.
She like crushes it and then the girl's body.
No, she didn't even crush it. She just fucking touches it. Oh. She just touches it. That's why I was like, it's just fucking funny because she just touches it and it's like, she breaks it in half.
I know, but like there's a rule in horror films, I feel. I feel like You have to have. It has to be justified for like a death. Even in slasher films,
Well, keep in mind though, like like how you said, it's cosmetic horror. It's not. It's not supposed to be justifiable. Not supposed to
Well,
make
no.
logic.
Yes, it doesn't have to be justifiable, but there has to be a reason behind
Why they died.
why they died. They can't
But
just
if
be
you
complete.
if you can't explain it, then how would you justify it? Then
Well, in terms of storytelling.
nothing makes sense. Nothing is real.
No. In terms of storytelling, there has to be like
Yeah.
she had to die. If she had died in front of her boyfriend, that would cause him to go crazy. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
If she had
Butterfly
died,
effect.
yes, there has to be
Butterfly
like
effect.
what was the narrative purpose for her to die?
There was no narrative. It was just for her to die. Because
I know, but that's the problem.
I know what you mean. It's like I know what you're trying to say. It's like, what was the reason for her death? There was no reason. It's just to have someone die. It was like, doesn't really help the plot. It's just kind of like, look, man, I just said it was funny. I didn't say it was the best one.
No, I'm saying that's why I didn't like it.
No, I know. Well, I mean, what was the best thing for you then?
I already told you I like when the girl falls out of the fucking tree.
Well, like, what about it? Like, why? Like, what made you your favorite? Or your best one, I guess.
I told you I like the idea of her being like 100 feet in the air and somehow this thing is either already in the tree. There's no way of knowing how it got up there. If it climbed up there, did it just metaphysically appear up there?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, or was it just able to make itself so big that it was just standing next to the tree? Like, that's where my mind goes, bro.
The tree was the witch.
That also.
With what you said earlier, did any of these deaths actually do that?
Did any of them serve a purpose?
Yes.
Peter's death was to create stress within the group so that they know that something's going on.
So that one.
The hillbilly's death, he went crazy, driven mad by the witch. So when he's causing conflict for the girl, that's why he dies. The black chick, her foot got cut. She's supposed to add this air of tension that something else is going wrong. She's sick. It's supposed to add purpose that she's leaving. Mm-hmm. So when she dies, she was already on death's door. So that was fine. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, of course, whenever the guy gets snatched up, it's to make the girl uncomfortable. Us as the viewer, we're watching through the perspective of the girl. It's to make us uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. When she dies, she hears a voice. It's supposed to show her naivety. So some people in the audience would relate to that.
So then the only one that didn't really have a reason was to...
Literally, there was no purpose for it. And by the way, I pulled all that out of my ass, like, on the spot. It makes sense, though.
It does. I mean, that's when you get the movie logic. So is it really cosmic horror if you're getting the logic?
Cosmic horror, like I said, there has to be a story. You can tell a good story without really explaining a lot of shit, but there are certain rules of storytelling that you have to follow in order for it to be a cohesive thought.
Would you say this is a good cosmic horror movie or no?
A great cosmic horror movie. I would call it great.
Interesting.
Like, there's this movie, The Cube. You ever heard of that?
The one where they're stuck in the
boxes?
In the boxes and they have to go out to look like...
They go through like little doors and
yeah.
One of the rooms might be a torture room.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. Cosmic horror, because there's
really
time loops. There's no explanation for why they're in there, why these rooms work the way they do, blah, blah, blah. That's the whole concept.
Interesting. Well, I mean, if you really think about it, this movie sucks. Because, okay, going back to what I was going to say.
Hit me with it.
To me, this movie, the way it worked out, like I said, the first, how long was the movie? Like, what, an hour and a half or so?
The first one?
The movie, like 2016 one. How long was it? Like an hour and a half?
Something like that.
Something like that. The character buildup would you say it really had an effect on you?
No, there weren't really any likable characters.
Okay, so that. And then, plot point. The plot of the movie.
It's a weak-ass story to begin with.
Exactly. So, and after that, okay, so then they go in the woods, your cliche interactions, dude's got to go about it, we're playing a prank on you. We don't know shit. Then shit hits the fans when it starts actually being real. Was it really scary at all?
No, none of that was.
And then after that, it's when like black guy gets snatched up. That's when shit starts to hit the fan, I guess, slowly. After that, I mean,
I think it gets interesting after that.
that's what I'm saying. Like after that horror, before that part, everything to me was just like this movie just drags on. It's not enjoyable really. You're not invested in it. Shit hits the fan, and you start. I would say up to the point up until, to me, when it started getting interesting was when they got to the house. Before that, it was kind of more just like more of a comedic relief to me, in a way, because it's more of like cliche, like horror stuff. To me, it was like the chick with the foot. She's like
And the foot like throbs and shit.
foot throbs. It's like, okay, what the fuck? I mean, I guess supernatural, but then it's like she goes crazy. The black dude gets snatched. The white couple, they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on, trying to find him, and those time loop thing happens, and it's just like what the fuck's all this? And then when I get to the house, it's more of like, okay, now I'm actually interested in what's going on, because now you have something to pull me in. I'm like, okay, now we're at the house. Like, what the fuck's gonna happen? So now you actually have an interesting point, because anything can happen. You just don't drop the ball on this. And then so them going to the house, the guy and the girl, and then trying to figure out their way out and everything. Like, okay, that was interesting. Up until the point where the lame guy comes back, it's when it kind of like, all right, this movie started going back to like where it's like, this is kind of fucking stupid. Because to me, it was like, what's the point of him coming back just to be like going crazy? Like, you have to do what she says and everything. And then he kills her, or she kills him. He goes, finds Peter, whatever his name is, I think Peter, and then they run into the witch. And then the guy's like, don't look back. Like, she won't get you unless if you look at her, don't look at her. And then he hears his sister's voice, knowing everything's just fucking crazy, and he still looks back and dies. And the girl's like, "Oh my god, it's so scary!" Like, "Oh my god, I can't look back." But then he literally what just happened to him happens to her, and she falls for it also. So like the last 5 minutes to me weren't great, and the first, I guess you can say, hour of the movie wasn't great either. It's only like a little between the ending, kind of towards the middle, was when it was decent to me. I don't know if you like would agree with me or not, if you really think about it, or if it's just me nitpicking on this movie.
No, you're right. I told you, characters, nobody really stands out. There's nobody like you really root for. The story is paper fucking thin.
Mm-hmm.
And also something I was thinking about while you were talking was, you know how at the end they find the house?
Yeah.
How useless, like, was the house? Because, like...
Wasn't the whole concept of trying to find the house?
No. Well, yeah, they were trying to find the house.
Because she was in there, yeah.
They use it like a goddamn...
A magic box.
A magic box. So, when you think about, like, horror movie houses, right?
Yeah.
They gotta have characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
What character did the actual setting of the house have? Or was it the most generic, like...
Horror cliche
house they could think of?
Honestly, it kind of was, because it's like, you got the
it was
creepy wooden house.
Wood walls, all rotted.
So many doors, and then such in the dark. You open a door, you can get a jump scare, or you can find nothing.
There's a single bed in a room.
Yeah, and it's just like, there's a bed. Let's look under the bed and hope maybe a jump scare is gonna.
It was a very generic, like, abandoned house. Or am I tripping?
Like, no, it's a very generic house, and with that comes very generic stereotypes of a house. Like I said, turn the corner. So many doors. Open a door. You can get a jump scare. Or, look, there's a bed. There's nothing on the bed. Let's look under the bed to see if, maybe jump scares are gonna happen. It's like, and that's when like the whole cliche jump scare stuff happens with that, because like you set yourself up with so many of those that it's like it kind of also ruins it for you. Because like if you think about it, do you once you kind of figure out when to call when jump scare's about to happen. Because I mean, at some point you start to realize, I can tell the jump scare's about to happen. Oh, there it is. It's like at that point, once you get to that point, does it ruin stuff for you? Or
What,
no?
when I can like call them out?
When you can call them out, like when that whole house scene, I'm like, all right, jump scare's about to happen. Oh, I just called it. There you go.
Well, that's most movies, dude. Like, if you watch enough movies, eventually you can like call them all the fuck out. Which you're getting better at, I'm assuming,
I mean,
or you've always been good at.
I've always been good at once I kind of like started watching more. I'm like, oh, fucking loud music. Oh, wonder what's gonna happen. Boom, there you go.
Oh, this guy's closing this door a little bit slow, or the
Yeah.
camera's at this weird angle over his shoulder. Okay,
Yeah.
it's that type of deal. Like, you get just an eye for like what direction the movie's headed.
Yeah. So with that being said, like, I know it's kind of towards based on the whole movie, but I was kind of more focusing that on the house. Like, does that also is like a factor in the whole house where it's like you kind of expect things, so it's like, oh, something's gonna happen, something's gonna pop out, or something's gonna so it kind of like makes it more generic and not as creepy because it's just like, oh, it's a fucking abandoned creepy house. It's like I can fucking go down the block and find one of those. So it's like it's nothing that
There's
stands
nothing
out.
memorable about the house.
I'm
Like,
saying it's nothing that stands out. There's handprints on the wall, and it's like it's story, like 3-story house, or and it's like it's made out of wood. You can hear the creak, and that's about it. Nothing that stands out.
no. And that's the difference between this one and the old one. The old one's house, I don't know what it was about it. There was like wallpaper that was all torn up. The bloody handprints were a lot more defined. The house looked a lot more realistic, like, oh, this is a house that's been abandoned in the woods for 20 years or whatever.
Well, wasn't it actually a abandoned house?
What do you mean?
Like what? Like in that movie, wasn't it an actual abandoned house?
Yeah.
I'm saying so. That's probably what it was, because that's what makes you give it a little more realism, because it's more of what an actual abandoned house would look like.
Whereas the one in this one looked like a created set.
Yeah, it looked like someone created the set, and obviously you can comparing to now to back then, like editing wise, you can like make shit look different. You can make shit look like they could probably make this house that right now look more like that house if they really wanted to. So it's like, how much of it was actually there compared to in the original one? The house was actually there, and I'm pretty sure they maybe moved a couple of things, but majority of it was already like a set base of like what it needs to look like, which gave it its characteristic.
And now that we're pretty much talking about the end of the movie, we discussed for a second your opinion of the actual depiction of the witch.
Yes,
You said you didn't like it.
it looks more. I mean, I guess it makes sense because more nature wise, but to me, it looked like a wooden like Slender Man, like
That's fair.
like tall, long, like because you mentioned how they mentioned that she got hanged and like she had rocks or something like
They
weight,
put weights on her.
put a weights on it
limbs.
to stretch her limbs out, and it's like I didn't catch that. Like I heard them say that, like, oh, they put weights on her, but I didn't catch that was the reason why that she has super long legs and like super long arms. I didn't catch that, which makes sense, but even then, still, like, to me, it just looked like a wooden Slender Man, honestly, because it wasn't like at first I got like I said, like a Wendigo type looking creature, but then like at the very last like 5 minutes when you actually got to see more of it, it just reminded me of like a blurry Slender Man face with just made out of wood.
So, whenever you've heard of like Blair Witch or like the concept of the movie, what do you picture before you saw this?
Like, what would they look like?
Yeah.
Well, I honestly wasn't expecting anything, because I know in the first one you don't see anything, and this one I'm like I came in thinking it was just like a remake of it.
I know, but what would you?
What would I have pictured it being?
Yes.
I mean, for sure not what was shown. I would probably go more of like not necessarily like a human witch, but more of like a ghost figure almost, like some like demonic shit like that, but nothing like how like a creature type thing. If that makes sense.
No.
So more like a ghost than like a creature. Like to
Yeah.
me, the
Like
witch,
an entity.
yeah, like to me the witch in this movie, to me it looked like more like a creature than like an entity or a ghost or anything. I would picture more like an actual ghost or something like haunting wise, where it haunts the woods, not like a Bigfoot running around, you know. So that's kind of what I pictured more of it. Does that would that make it any better? I don't know, but that's kind of what I pictured.
Maybe this is why we feel different about it, because in the old movie, that is what I pictured. Because there's a scene in the old Blair Witch, like I said, where they're running from the tent at night after there's banging on their tents or they hear a noise, and the girl's running through the woods, and there's two cameras. There's one guy and the girl. So the guy's running behind the female, so all you see is her back in like this night vision shot while she's sprinting, right? Then there's a part where she looks to the side, and her camera is pointing at somewhere, like the light on her camera. I don't think the camera's on because we don't get her vantage point. So she's got the light on her camera, and she's pointing it off to the side that we can't see. And she's like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?" And like I said, the only thing we're seeing, though, is her back and her looking to the side while she's running and doing that. So as a kid, when I see that, right, what do you think she would be looking at running alongside them?
Well, here's the thing, though. My question would be, what would you see? Like I should say, what wouldn't you see that would give you that reaction? Like, if you saw a ghost or you saw some demonic demon or whatever you can think of, at what point would it stop giving you that reaction? If you saw something like that.
Well, no. I'm saying, to me personally, what I imagine when she saw that is she's looking into like these tree line, and I'm imagining like branches, and I'm imagining this like 7-foot fucking figure just running alongside her.
I get that. I get that's kind of like got the image of it. I'm just asking, like, in general, like, at what point do you stop seeing anything, or you stop seeing things that will make you be like, or you see things that will make you think, what the fuck is that? Like, what the hell is that? Because like, I'm pretty sure if you didn't know what it looked like, and you had to guess what it looked like, you know, like you would start naming shit. But at what point would it stop giving you that reaction of what you name? You know?
I don't know what you mean.
Like, oh, I see a ghost. It gives me that reaction. You see a fucking Wendigo. Oh, it gives me that reaction. You see a guy in a mask, and you're like, okay, I don't get that reaction from it. So, like, with that being said, like, your imagination can go wild and be like, you think of like shit that would make you say that would freak you out, you know? So, like, to you, it could be like, oh, I imagine something similar to that. Whereas to me, it could be like, oh, I imagine like a ghost or like spirit or some shit like that. So, like, but it would give me the same reaction that you would get.
Oh, dude, they're gonna be some naked fucking dude with a trench coat, like doing the soccer cross-legged run sideways, and then give me that reaction.
Well, I was talking the horror aspect.
That would be horrifying, bro.
I guess that's true. But you get what I'm trying to say? Where it's like, you pictured that, I didn't picture that, but I feel like if whatever you saw and what I saw would give us that same reaction.
Ah, dude, like I said, yeah, anything. I'm just saying, for me personally, why I like the depiction in this movie is because, I take it back, there was two things I pictured. Either the 7-foot tall thing,
the one you saw in this movie?
Yes.
Or what?
Or a lady on an actual fucking, like, broomstick. Like, someone levitating, like, beside them, like, chasing them.
I mean, I guess that for like your concept of like what you thought you saw, I guess I could see that. Because like, we're talking what, like 6, 7, you said when you first saw this?
Yeah,
one?
so if not someone tall, then someone like floating, like running alongside them would be scary as fuck.
Even before going into this movie, I didn't picture, like I said, I didn't picture like an actual witch on a broom or shit like that. I pictured more, if I'm gonna see something, it's more of like an actual like ghost or spirit or like something along those lines, not more of a creature of like in the woods, you know. So, I mean, like yours, it makes sense why it would be that, because I mean, if you look at the figures, the stick figures, it kind of like resembles it a little bit. Now that I think about it, it resembles it a bit.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, them saying the plot point of, oh, like she got hanged and her arms had like rocks and shit, so that way it stretches them out. So then we put the pieces together and like it makes sense why it looks that way. But if you go in without thinking about those things, and like I said, I was expecting something different.
Yeah, like without any of that information, it looks like the Crooked Man from The Conjuring 2 or the Slender Man, like you said. So I mean, it does seem random without that little like tidbit of information.
That's what I was saying. That's kind of like what I was getting towards, which I probably should have explained a little bit. Is if you go in without knowing any of that thing, you expect something else. But if you really think about it and like plot point, oh, the stick figures, like the plot that he said about that, stuff like that, I'm like, okay, then it kind of makes sense why it looks the way it looks.
All right, though, but I think we're pretty much at the end of this. So, what would you rate the movie?
Well, I believe I get Quarantine a 2, right?
Yeah.
If honestly, I'd probably give this a 2 also. It, like I said, in that movie, like their plot was interesting, but they could have gone with so much more. This one, I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like the plot was sucks, but the idea was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the same thing or not, but like there was cool shots like with the cameras. There was the scene where she's climbing the tree up. That was actually pretty cool done. Like back and forth with the drone and everything. Like,
Oh, we didn't talk about when she was crawling in the hole.
and she was calling the whole like stuff like that. Like scenes
That was cool.
There's scenes that are pretty cool. The idea, the concept could have been much better. It could have been done much better.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I would give it a 2. Also, like compared like, because I feel like this. I feel the same way like with this with like Quarantine. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. I'm going with 3 because I like the concept. I don't think the story or the actual movie was like executed all that well.
Mm-hmm.
But there are aspects of it that I appreciate. And for that alone, I'm going with 3.
I mean, it makes sense for you. It's more of a different approach than for me. I'm going this never seeing it and like first time seeing it. Yours like watching it for like the 20th time, seeing the first one.
No, like you said, like if I had judged this after the first time watching it, it'd have been a 1. Just because, like I said, I didn't have the open mind that I did this for this viewing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like seeing like, and that's how I mentioned earlier, where I'm seeing this for the first time and I'm gonna be like, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
Where yours is like I've seen this for the 20th time and I can appreciate the things if I don't go and trying to find the shit that I don't like about this movie.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why your rating's different.
Now we're on a whole nother subject. I just saw that movie on Netflix called Fear Street.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if you heard like the way I felt about that movie, it was ridiculous.
Good way or bad way?
Bad way, dude. I hated it.
Fear Street. So why does that sound
It's a
familiar?
big thing on Netflix right now. Everybody's talking about it. It's like being trended like all over the motherfucking platform.
It sounds. What is it about? That's familiar.
There's 3 of them. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. They're supposed to be based on like one's from the 90s, one's from the 80s, and then one's in like the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw the first one from the 90s, and I just thought it was dog shit.
What was it about?
A witch curses people, turns them into zombies,
Nice.
and that's it.
If that's it, it kind of sounds boring. It's kind of not boring. Sounds.
You ever seen that TV show Riverdale? Or do you know of it?
I know of it. I've never seen it.
So, like, you get the idea of the aesthetic of it, right? It's like a teen, like, Twilight-y type characters. Yeah, it's like that. But, like, if that and Scream were put together.
Good Scream or bad Scream?
Bad Scream.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, no, so like, that's my comparison between you seeing this for the first time and me seeing that for the first time. I'm like, oh, this is dog shit, bro. I don't like it.
But would you say that makes you appreciate this more?
Yes.
So maybe that influences also. The influation also is there too.
Possibly, like, because I dislike something. Who knows? Maybe I'll rewatch that and I'll like that better another time. But right now, first viewing, bro, I just didn't fuck with it at all.
That's what I was like. I noticed like mine's always first viewing for the majority of the time. Yours is like 20th viewing it. So my reactions and moment and like review to the movie is so much different from yours. Because more I'm going like this is the first time seeing. This is what I thought. Yours is like I've seen this movie for the 20th time. This is what I thought of it when I first saw it. This is what I think of it now. I can appreciate things I didn't appreciate at the beginning, stuff like that. So it's like so much different from like when it comes to like viewing movies now, from like in both perspectives, because one's influenced and one isn't. Mine's not influenced off of anything. Mine's just going off of what I saw. Yours is like, I saw this and I compared it to this, or I saw this for the 20th time.
Okay, so picture this. When you're watching a movie, right? Say if we both take in a piece of paper and it's got like boxes on it that we're checking off. Your boxes are, did I like it? Did I not like it? It's 2 boxes. See, mine is,
What did they do good? What did they do bad?
how's the story? What are the characters like? What are those kills like?
Oh no,
what was the good scenes
I
like?
noticed that shit too. I just like, if it's so overwhelming when this movie's just horrible, it's like, what's the point of fucking going into it if it's just like the plot's so bad and everything? It's just,
I know.
it just bases off of it.
I know, it gets distracting the first time we're watching a movie.
Yeah, so that's what I was like when with the other movie that we did. It's like first 5 minutes was like interesting, and like okay, the plot isn't like the strongest because it's overdone, but movie's still interesting enough where it's like you notice the shit, but the movie's so bad it's just like first time you see it, it's just like you don't even fucking care. You just like this movie just sucks. So that's probably why like. When I first saw the movie and like the first 5-10 minutes of it, I was already like not involved in it or like, happy or not happy, but like excited to see it or be like, oh, this shit's compelling or whatever. It's like I don't fucking care anymore. Just show me what you got to show me, and if you can get me, you get my attention again, like cool. If not, then I already know where I stand.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what's a good like follow-up question to like. After watching this movie, right? Mm-hmm. And the one I came to this is very random. Mm-hmm. Would you ever date a chick that says she's like Wicca? Like part witch?
I've never heard that Wicca term.
Or is it Wiccan? I think it's Wiccan.
Never heard that term either.
You never heard of that? Like chicks that like think they like...
Or witches?
They do charms and shit. Seances.
Oh, it's charms? I know people that do that shit.
Yeah, or like what's that stuff called? Incense. They burn incense and stuff like candles.
Not incest.
I said incense, friend.
I heard incest at first. I was like, what the fuck? I know people that do that shit. Like they'll do candles.
Or they feel that they have a spiritual connection. Yeah, crystals and all that shit. That's what that is.
Yeah. I know people that do that. So are you asking me like if I would date someone that way?
Yeah.
I mean,
would it stop you from dating someone?
It wouldn't stop me from dating someone. I just think it kind of depends on how deep you're into it. Like, if you're thinking like you're a witch because of this shit, then like, okay, maybe not. But if you're like, oh, I do this shit because it helps me, it helps me cleanse my spirit, or like, it makes you feel better about myself. I'm like, okay, I get it. Everyone, has their thing of what makes them feel better about themselves. And who am I to say no, you can't do this shit? But if it's like, oh, I do this shit because I want to get into witchcraft, or like, oh, like stuff like that, and it's like, okay, no, I'm okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That was a really long way to say maybe.
It depends on how deep it is.
Huh. Where do you draw the line?
The moment I find that you're trying to do like some witchcraft shit.
What if they do sacrifices, but it's only on goldfish?
Even then, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would I do that?
What do you mean? Just...
Like, why would I be okay with dating someone that just murders goldfishes for fun?
So you draw the line?
If you're killing something every single time I'm over, or like...
All right, picture this. Imagine you go over to a chick's house, right? Mm-hmm. And you fall asleep on her bed.
Okay. I wake up to her killing a goldfish?
No. You wake
Strangling
up,
a goldfish
you
in
wake
the bed?
up and you go to bed, and she has like a little lunch bag, and she's collecting like pieces of your hair from the pillow.
I would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Would you be like, give him back?
I wouldn't want my hair back, but I would just be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
so that's a deal breaker?
Why would you be nitpicking my hair?
I don't know, dude.
Would that not be a deal breaker for you?
Not really.
What is a deal breaker for you?
Maybe she just doesn't want your hair on her fucking pillows, bro. You don't know.
Fucking just shave my hair off then. If it's that much of a pain to you, it would make more sense for her if she just cut my hair like completely with a buzz cutter or something, than just be like one at a time.
Well, what if she was using it for a spell though? That's what the implication is.
Well, I mean, I know that's what you're implying. But it's like, why would I get involved in that shit? It's like, why would you want to get involved in witchcraft?
I don't know, dude. I don't do it. Do you?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you want to get involved, even if it's real or not?
So it'd be a deal breaker no matter what.
Yeah, witchcraft shit. Yeah.
You wouldn't try to like convert them?
To not do that?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. It's like, how deep are you into it? If you're like in this 100%, I'm like, no, I'm okay. You can go find someone else.
Okay.
If it's someone like tippy toeing into themselves into it, maybe be like, I wouldn't do this if I were you. But at that point, depending on how hard headed she is, she's like, no, I want to do this. I'm like, all right, fucking you do you. I'm going.
All right. Say if you guys are at a Starbucks, right?
Starbuck witchcraft.
Okay, and she, I don't know where she pulls that book out of her bag.
To you, that'd be a turn on.
I don't know, man. Maybe.
But I mean, is it like a real one or is it the fake one?
Like, say if it's just literally got poetry in it, but that's what the book looks like.
I mean, she's into horror shit, I guess.
That'd be cool.
It's like yours is like, you're into horror shit. I'm not going to think, oh my God, you're doing witchcraft.
Right.
So it's like, it's difference between I'm into horror and I'm actually doing like.
And I worship
witchcraft.
Satan.
Hmm?
Well, that's the difference.
What?
You think witchcraft automatically means you love the devil, or is there different, like, there's different levels, right? Because, like, pagan doesn't necessarily mean Satan.
No, there's different, like, how would you say it?
Some people, like, worship Earth.
It depends. I guess it just kind of depends on what you believe in, honestly. Because if you just believe in God and the devil, then everything's gonna be Satanism. But if you like go into like other things, I guess it depends on what you believe is what you'll think. Like for the most concept, like if you're Christian or Catholic, you're not gonna believe this other God and this other. It's more of like witchcraft or whatever else thing. Oh, it's Satanism. Mm-hmm. But like if you can some other religion would probably believe in like multiple gods and like multiple devils and stuff like that, and be like, okay, well, fucking I don't know, witchcraft connects to Cthulhu or some shit like that, So I guess it just kind of depends on your views. Like to me, if someone was doing witchcraft, I mean, like probably be like Satanism shit. But I don't know, someone else could think differently, maybe. Well, how do you see it?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you think? Is it just straight up just Satanism or
what, like witchcraft?
Yeah.
No. Like I said, like it's pretty much just repeating exactly. You summed it up really well. Is some people you take it however you want to fucking take it. Mm-hmm. Like, say if you're because you're a Catholic or a Christian or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be going to church every fucking Sunday. Some people take it deeper than other people, Mm-hmm. Just because you're Catholic doesn't mean you can't swear. Doesn't mean you can't eat meat on Fridays or whatever the shit.
Can't drink or whatever.
Like, people take it in whatever direction they want to take it. You want to take something to a dark place, you're going to take it to a dark place regardless.
Yeah. And, I mean, I feel like that's just how open someone is to seeing the world how they want to see it. Because, you have people that are super closed-minded. They only see it one way and that's it. Well, there's other people that are like, well, I want to do this, but I want to do it my way. Or, it's just the whole, religious thing where people just either nitpick or just do it one way or open to everything. So, yeah, it's it just depends on how open you are, honestly. Because, I mean, how naive are you or, how open are you to things,
That's what the fucking witch is going to pitch to you when she tries to ask you out on a date.
She'd be like, how open are you to this shit? I'm like, I'm not open to
Listen,
this
how attached are you to goldfish?
You know what? One goldfish is fine. But the moment you hit two is when it's over.
That's when I draw the line, son.
No, I don't know. Like I said, if it's like witchcraft shit, I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm sorry, can't do this shit. But if it's like I just do crystals, like to free my spirit or whatever you want to call it, then sure, okay.
Okay. So what if she doesn't do witchcraft shit, but she has an altar? Does it depend what's on the altar?
No.
So just an altar in general is a deal breaker.
I mean,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, an altar. Yeah, like why the fuck would you have an altar? Like if some chick invites me to her house, and we go to her room and I see an altar, I would fucking question that. I'd be like, why do you have an altar in your room?
It's just the vibes, man.
It's just the fucking vibes. What?
Listen, I love the vibes, bro.
Trying to be in a Catholic school or something?
Like, there's candles. There's, like, little fucking, like, crystals and shit all over it. Little symbols that you don't recognize.
Okay. I guess depending on how they explain it and what they say about it. Because I understand there's people that have, like, oh, I have my, what is it called? It's my meditation center. Or, like, you know, or, like, a little
That's
spot.
the thing?
Well, it's like people, like, have meditation spots, you know?
Uh-huh.
So, like, someone that does crystals, or I don't even know if I want to say they don't do crystals. They just
do crystal.
I like the crystal. That's what I was like. They don't do. Yeah, they do crystals.
Yeah, they do crystal.
Crystal meth, you know. Like, so people that have crystals or whatever, like, they'll have that. They'll have, like, the little smoke thing that they burn up and shit like that. Whatever, they'll wear it or whatever they do. It's like, I'm sure they have, like, if they're really into that stuff, I'm sure they have, like, a meditation spot where, like, they'll just meditate for a little bit, you know, just, I guess, to cleanse themselves or fucking, I don't know, free their mind or whatever. So, like, it makes sense why some people, you wouldn't necessarily call it an altar, but if it's, like, straight up, just, like, you have a straight up altar, but you call it, like, your meditation center or whatever, it's, like, I guess depending on how creepy that shit is or, like, what's going on, then maybe not, or maybe.
Yeah, I think I'd be out with an altar.
Because, like I said, it's like, okay, you have your meditation spot, fine. But the moment you have an altar, it's kind of like, okay, why do you have an altar? What's this for, you know? So it kind of just depends, you know? Like, what the fuck's going on? Because, like, why would you even have an altar in your room at all? Like, what would be a reason that you can justify saying, I have an altar in my room for?
Same reason I have a bookshelf with a bunch of weird shit on it.
Yeah, but you're not fucking worshiping it, your bookshelf.
Well, maybe they just like the way it looks. They don't have to necessarily be worshiping with it. That could just be decorative.
The vibes.
The vibes, man.
Nah,
So it sounds to me like you wouldn't date a witch.
Why would I date a witch, anyways?
I don't know, bro. It'd be kind of cool. You never saw Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
No.
It looks like that was low-key fun.
I wouldn't get involved in that shit, honestly.
Imagine if you, like, dated Hermione Granger, bro. The chick from Harry Potter.
I mean, she's a wizard.
What's the difference?
Nothing. But as I'm saying, like, I don't want to get involved in that shit. It's like someone saying, hey, do you want to do witchcraft? Fuck no. Hey, do you want to smoke weed? Yeah, why not? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, straight up no. Like, no, compared to something, I'll think about it, or, why not? I know it's kind of like a really shitty comparison, but it's like, the only thing that came to my mind where it's like, someone asks you, do you want to do witchcraft? Like, no, I'm okay. Compared to something else where it's like, why not? Or, sure, I'll try it.
Real quick, this is off subject. Do you believe in chain emails?
Never had any. Never gotten any, really.
You have. You ever, like, scrolled through Facebook and you see a comment or a meme that's like, stop. If you started reading this, Jesus Christ is with you.
Oh, those?
That's what chain mail is.
I thought you were from, like, emails where people, like, send you shit.
It's like, if you don't like, then you love Satan.
No.
If you don't share.
I don't believe those.
You don't believe those?
No, I don't believe them.
So you read them all the way through and then you just go, fuck you, God. And then you just keep scrolling.
No. The way I see it is, does he really need to see if I like him with the like on the post? Is that really my ticket to heaven?
You never know, bro. Imagine you get to the pearly gates and God's like, Alex,
like that
you
post.
Scrolled past 9 of these fucking posts, you whore.
Nah, I don't believe in those. I always thought they were stupid.
You know, I'm still superstitious to where I stop reading at the first word and I'm like, didn't read the whole thing, didn't count. Scroll.
Fair enough. I mean, like I said, dude, to me, it's just, they're stupid. It's more of just like trying to get attention.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just trying to get your page some more fucking
likes and shares and stuff like that. It's like, oh, just like and share if you
it's
love
fucked
Jesus.
up actually when you think about it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like and share if you love Jesus. Ignore if you like the devil or Satan or whatever.
That shit's hella dumb, bro, and exploitative, and I hate it.
Exactly. It's like how you said. It's sad.
But with that being said, Alex, you have to go to work soon.
You too.
I'm off for 2 days.
Fuck you.
Anyways, you guys, thank you for watching. Alex, thank you for being here with me.
Of course.
Make sure you guys are checking out the Instagram and the TikTok, which has done really fucking well recently.
I'm telling you, hop on that Twitter. Fucking never hop on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to start spamming the shit out of Twitter here soon because I got free time, so why not?
But you got this.
Thank you for watching Death Taco Podcast.